All right, Alex, good to have you with us. And let's bring in our panel now to weigh in on what happens at DHS. Pleased to have former Deputy National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney, Steve Yates, with us. He's also the Senior Fellow for National Security over at the Heritage Foundation. And we also have former legal analyst for the Bureau of Political Military Affairs at the State Department, Mehek Cooke. She's analyzed security cooperation, arms transfers, regional threats. She is a counterterrorism and national security analyst. She's also an attorney. So a great perspective I know you'll both have on where we go today. There are these reports, though, let's begin, that this was the moment Trump decided Noem had to go. It was a question from a California Democrat about her sexual relations with a top advisor, Corey Lewandowski. Here is the exchange.
So, Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am, one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House.
You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage?
Because it is not about your sex life.
That you have brought
it is
that
about
up.
your
So
judgment.
that kind of.
All right, Mehek, as a woman, not sure if a man would be asked that question. Her husband was also there. But the other question I have for you is, why didn't President Trump fire Noem sooner? There were other things like the big ad spend, the unfolding criticism of Minnesota, but it went here. Do you think that was a miscalculation?
I think Christie's entire tenure, unfortunately, has been a miscalculation, and President Trump has been graceful through it. I think Operation Metro Surge was just stake number one in terms of how she dealt with it, immediately calling Alex Preddy a domestic terrorist and not really slowing down and letting the investigation unfold. And this hearing was just a nail in the coffin. If she can't directly respond to a yes or no question, people have serious issues with that. You clearly saw that. But my bigger issue is when Kristi Noem said that President Trump authorized a $220 million contract. I've told you, as I've been a legal counsel for a governor, I have never gotten approval as I'm reviewing legal contracts. President Trump isn't actually at the helm of DHS. Christie should have said that was my decision. It's my department. And instead, she's pointing fingers at President Trump. And the worst part about this is her whole photo shoot was the second day of the shutdown. So when we should be focused on DHS and implementing security measures for our country, she's out there in South Dakota on a horse. We could have done these ads in Washington, D.C. So I think all of this has continued to show the American people that the focus for DHS has not been about safety and security. It's about Kristi Noem. And I want the conversation to move back to what President Trump promised us, safety and security. And that's what Senator Mullin will provide.
Yeah. And moving forward, I want to know from you, Steve, what type of pushback Senator Markwayne Mullin may get. I mean, it's good to see some Democrats supporting him. We had a senator from Vermont, Peter Welch, calling him honest. But there's this report that percolated under Noem that DHS Inspector General sent a letter to lawmakers saying Noem was obstructing his work. So he's walking into a situation where we know ICE has been demonized and Democrats are digging in their heels. How does he thread the needle here in this new position and also enforce the laws on the books here?
Well, ultimately, this is an exercise of presidential management of a cabinet, and many previous administrations have failed to manage their cabinets. But when you're doing the president's work, you have to make sure politics is a combat sport, a full contact sport. There will be distractions, but your actions and results have to speak louder than the distractions. And I think that's what consumed the department over many, many months. And so he knows going in that where the sort of blows are going to come from. And I think he has an opportunity for at least a tactical reset by having a change in leadership. That doesn't have to be burying the predecessor, but it does mean effectively moving forward with a new muscle. The president has an opportunity to energize that effort. But I think, broadly speaking, the president's objectives remain very much the same. There are some fundamental successes to build upon, but Homeland Security is a tough department to manage. It was Frankenstein of different agencies put together after 9/11, and there's still a lot of management challenges in holding that universe together.
Newsmax.